Welcome to Spectrum News. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu says poverty unacceptable under his leadership. Federal government says Nigeria others to initiate peace move in Gaza conflict. Plus, Hamas blames Israel, U.S. for Israeli army raid on Gaza's largest hospital. We'll bring you details of the story and many more in a moment. First, in the news this afternoon is Nigeria's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has said that poverty is not a shameful thing, but it is unacceptable in Nigeria under his leadership. Tinubu made this known at the 55th International Conference Exhibition and Emerald Anniversary of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, with the theme Sustainable HR Business and National Development. The president, who was represented by the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiru Onyejocha, noted that in the face of global challenges, his administration is committed to steering Nigeria towards self-reliance and reducing dependency on others. Commenting on the roles for HR practitioners, Tinubu said it was crucial in molding and effectively managing people to become catalysts for economic resurgence in an increasingly competitive and challenging world. In the meantime, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has said that President Bola Tinubu is committed to improving the lives of vulnerable Nigerians in the country. Shettima stated these at the presidential villa in Abuja while receiving a comprehensive report from the Presidential Committee on Flood Mitigation, Adaptation, Preparedness and Response, describing the report as a testament to President Tinubu's commitment to the renewed hope agenda. The Vice President stated categorically that the Tinubu administration is focused on improving the socio-economic conditions of Nigeria's most vulnerable countries. He also directed the committee to present the report to the National Economic Council and EC for further deliberations and possible ascension by the Council. Away from that, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Arab League have selected Nigeria as part of a special delegation mandated to initiate immediate international action to halt the ongoing war in Gaza. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, made this known in a statement. According to Tuga, the selection was communicated to Nigeria by the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Nigeria in Abuja. Tuga said the decision was taken in furtherance to the resolution adopted at the joint Arab-Islamic Extraordinary Summit on Israeli aggressions against the Palestinian people, which took place in Riyadh on Saturday, UN to help bring a stop to the Israeli-Palestinian war. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has refuted claims of tampering with the result of the Kogi State governorship election on the result view portal IREV. While some reports have claimed that the commission tampered with the result on the portal, INEC's National Commissioner and Member Information and Voter Education Committee, Muhammad Aruna, said they are unfounded. According to INEC, the most accurate and up-to-date voters' accreditation data is available in the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS), which is used for the authentication authentication and accreditation of registered voters at various polling units on election day. The Commission added that BVAS automatically retains the accreditation data of all voters. On judicial matters, the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Abuja, has revoked the bail earlier granted Geoffrey Akindele, one of the defendants on the trial of the former Accountant General of the Federation AGOF, Ahmed Idris, for an alleged 109.5 million naira fraud. The defendant Geoffrey Akindele's bail was revoked by Justice Yusuf Halilu following his non-appearance in court for continuation of the trial within trial. At the resumed hearing of the matter, Akindele was absent in the court as of the time the case was called. Though Idris and Usman were in court, according to Justice Halilu, Akindele had clearly not shown good character and conduct by his refusal to attend court, adding that the second defendant had abused the terms of his bail. Justice Halilu subsequently revoked his bail and ordered the FCT Commissioner of Police and the EFCC to arrest Akindele and produce him in court at the next adjourned dates. In a separate development, the Nigerian Customs Service has promised to ensure the implementation of the recommendations of the Senate over the abuse of firearms by its operatives. The Controller of Customs at Dewale Adeniyi stated these when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Customs, affirming that the agency will ramp up its revenue targets to essentially assist the federal government in addressing the yearly budget deficit. The lawmakers asked the Customs Controller General to begin the decongestion of all customs warehouses, particularly to dispense perishable items given to internally displaced persons across the country. The committee resolved to judiciously perform its oversight functions on Nigeria customs to achieve its core mandate of tackling smuggling across the nation's borders. On labor matters, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC Akwa Ibom State Chapter and other affiliate unions yesterday cordoned off the federal and state secretariats as well as the High Court in Barracks Road and other public establishments of government as protest and strike against the alleged beating of NLC President Joe Ajaero and other unmet demands of labor commenced. Speaking at the protest grounds at Idonesanka Secretariat, the chairman of the NLC Akwa Ibom State Branch, Sonny James, explained the import of the indefinite strike and labor's grievances, especially in relation to Ajaero's maltreatment in Imo State.
What we did was merely asking Hobu Sodima to make sure he respect the agreement, he freely enter with organized labor in 2021. And therefore, for him to refuse, we had every right under the law to do a mass protest in Imo State. On the said date, we arrived 31st October 2023. Nigeria Labour Congress arrived in Imo State. I am saying authoritatively, and I want to be quoted, that I was an eyewitness at the point Jojo was beaten, because I was there. I'm not telling what people said it happened. Everybody should also inform me. If you are being owed salaries, your father going to collect the debt from another person that owed you, and upon arrival, your father was beaten by whatever person that was there. Will you be happy to see your father beaten that way? No! Akwa Ibom workers are joining other workers in Nigeria to say enough is enough. What did they say? Enough is enough. The second leg of this is that on the 2nd of October 2023, federal government of Tinubu-led administration met with organized labor and agreed to sign willingly on a 15-item agreement. As we speak, only 2 of those items has been implemented, being the 35,000 to the federal establishment. And not all the federal establishment and passengers have collected the money. That agreement has not been respected, especially item.
The NLC state helmsman at the state level, the government has done well in some aspect, but must review lagging areas for overall benefit of a state workforce. He also explained that the calling of the strike will be dependent on how swiftly the government will ensure justice for the fate that befell the NLC president and other outstanding areas.
In the coming days, when nothing is done in that direction, we shall do our own special strike to ensure that justice is done in Akwa Ibom State. You know, is that no you speaking? Is no you speaking? We are also aware 2023 promotions are not been carried out in Akwa Ibom State. 2022 promotions, some places are not been implemented. We shall continuously engage the government who have put themselves into a team of not willing to listen to Nigerian workers. As we speak right now, it is the only Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress that is left for all Nigerians.
Also speaking, some Labour leaders at the event called on the government to begin to show accountability to the earnings of a country's workforce to reflect the biting economic realities in the country at present.
Labour's rights have been violated in Imo State when the NLC leader was violently beaten and embarrassed. That is an anomaly. It cannot be tolerated anywhere in the world. Then added to that is an agreement that the government reached with Labour. The MOU that was signed on October 2nd, 15-point agenda. None of them have been implemented as we speak. Labour have to act. And what do? We strike. That's the only way we can speak our language that government should understand.
Art Workers Union, Akwa Ibom State Council. My dear brother, why we are having this strike is one. Since the first time that the president, on his first speech, he made an address, and you know, the address that changed everything in the country, talking about the taking off of the fuel subsidy, and with that single word and otherwise changed everything in the country.
Comes on the heels of alleged physical assault. NLC National President Joe Ajara was subjected to in Imo State 2 weeks ago when he and other NLC members visited the Southeast State for a demonstration over non-payment of salaries and pensions for 44 months and violation of other labor rights. In the meantime, an endocrinologist in the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, UUTH, Dr. Obong Omorin, has called on the general public to regularly check their glucose levels so as to know their diabetes status. Dr. Omorin made this known in an interview with Spectrum Television in commemoration of the World's Diabetes Day. The endocrinologist, who disclosed that about 85 to 90% of the people live with type 2 diabetes, highlighted some risk factors to include sedentary lifestyle, obesity, and among others. According to him, consumption of food with more protein and fiber as well as reduction of alcohol intake will help prevent or manage diabetes disease.
The theme for the World Diabetes Day, which is 14 November every year, has been access to diabetes care. The sub-theme for this year is know your risks, know your response. That risk basically applies to type 2 diabetes, which is actually the commonest form. About 85 to 90% of people that have diabetes have type 2. So the idea is to let access to diabetes care basically mean access to testing, regular testing, access to medications, and access to support from the family, the doctor, and even the government. Understand? So basically access to care is an all-encompassing word that talks about access to all aspects of diabetes care, which some people include testing, even getting to make a diagnosis. For example, now 1 in 2 people that have diabetes don't know they have it. So access to testing is very important. We people get to at least have a regular fasting blood glucose check. When you have numbers above 7, you can now decide, okay, this patient has diabetes, you can now start treatment. Access to education, very important to understand, is also an aspect of it. The commonest risk factors include sedentary lifestyle, physical inactivity. People sit in one position without.
Now to Africa, where United Nations has said it will resume delivering humanitarian supplies and evacuating staff in Niger after the country's ruling junta lifted domestic flight restrictions. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, said the resumption of domestic flight operations will facilitate the monthly delivery of nearly 2.4 metric tons of medical supplies and other aids, as well as critical medical and security evacuation for humanitarian staff. The UN agency, however, added that it expects challenges fueling its aircraft. Still in Africa, United States, US has said that it will resume deliveries of food aid across Ethiopia in December, 6 months after they were suspended over corruption allegations. The U.S. International Development Agency, USAID, said significant reforms would ensure that the food supplies reached those who needed them most. It said that aid resumption will be on a one-year trial basis. According to reports, millions of Ethiopians face food shortages because of the effect of conflict and severe weather. On the foreign scene, Hamas have blamed both Israel and the United States for Israeli army's raid on Gaza's largest hospital. Hamas, in a statement, said the raid on the Al-Shifa hospital also constituted a failure by the United Nations to defend Palestinians. The statement added that the silence of the United Nations and the betrayal of many countries and governments will not deter Palestinian people from clinging to their land and legitimate national rights. Still on the foreign scene, a former Social Democratic and Labour Party SDLP deputy mayor of Derry City and Strabane, James McKeever, has lost an appeal against his conviction for sexually abusing a girl in the 1980s. The 65-year-old is serving a 4-year sentence for 8 offences between August 1981 and December 1988. Reports say his victim was aged between 7 and 14 at the time of the abuse. He was found guilty in May last year, and the Court of Appeal in Belfast upheld his conviction today. Still to come in the news, Lesotho Storm Uyo for 2026 World Cup qualifies with Super Eagles. Do stay with us. Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. On our business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has extended the validity of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes indefinitely. The Apex Bank's Director, Corporate Communications, Issa Abdul-Mumin, in a statement said the decision is in line with international best practices and to forestall a repeat of earlier experiences implementing the policy. The statement added that all banknotes issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria in accordance with the Section 20, Subsection 5 of the CBN Act 2007 will continue to remain legal tender ad infinitum, even beyond the initial December 31st, 2023 deadline. Still in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has said that the $2.8 billion Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project being constructed by Oilserve Limited will be inaugurated next month. The Executive Vice President Upstream NNPC Limited, Orishemiwa Ayesa, revealed these at the 41st Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists 2023 Expo in Lagos. Ayesa said the commitment to delivering the project in December was a testament to the company's commitment to Nigeria's gas master plan. The development comes in the heels of the promise by the Minister of State Gas, Ekperikwe, at the PAI River Crossing session in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in October. In health, stakeholders have pledged to achieve greenhouse gas emissions to as close as zero by 2060 and forge a sustainable path for the environment. They pledged at the national workshop to validate Nigeria's long-term low-emission development strategy organized by the National Council on Climate Change with the support of 2050 Pathways Platform. Speaking, the Director General of the NCCC, Dr. Salisu Dahiru, noted that the workshop marks a significant step towards defining Nigeria's low-emission development pathways for a more resilient future in the face of climate change. Dahiru said a developed long-term low-emission strategy document will be a supporting tool to be submitted. Revised 2021 nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. Still in health, an international medical humanitarian organization known as Doctors Without Borders said Nigeria is currently experiencing an unprecedented diphtheria outbreak with about 17,000 suspected cases and close to 600 deaths recorded. The organization, in a statement noted that 70% of the patients admitted in its facilities in Kano State were not fully vaccinated or vaccinated at all, calling for sustained vaccination. The body said it is the only lasting solution to curb and prevent future outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases such as diphtheria, measles, polio, and tetanus that are responsible for numerous deaths every year. And now to sport, where the Lesotho national football team have arrived Uyo ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixture against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The Liquina arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos on Monday. The contingent spent the night in Lagos before connecting another flight to Uyo. Lesotho will face the Super Eagles at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium on Thursday. Still in sports, Jannik Sinner claimed his first ever victory against Novak Djokovic as the Italian beat the world number one at the ATP Finals in Turin. Sinner, aged 22, won a third set tie break to secure the group match 7-5, 6-7, 5-7, 7-6, 5-2 in 3 hours and 9 minutes. The victory was the 36-year-old Djokovic's first defeat ever since the Wimbledon men's final in July. On our entertainment news, Nigerian music sensation Rema has sold out the O2 Arena as he announced himself on a storied stage that has serially commissioned the international ascension of Nigerian superstars. In the landmark sold-out concert tagged Ravage Uprising, streamed by over 40,000 people, Rema thrilled fans with a collection of his hit song channeled through his energetic stage presence. The concert was a special moment for the 23-year-old superstar who joins Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Asake as the Nigerian artist to have sold out the O2 Arena. And still on entertainment, Guinness World Records GWR has said that the Nigerian Helen Williams has set a world record for the longest handmade wig. She achieved the feat in Lagos with his handmade wig of 350.28 meters. The GWR noted that Helen spent 11 days and over 2 million naira in making the wig. And that's all we have for you at this time. Don't sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. I am Rachel David White. Good afternoon.